Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and scramble this guy. The scrambling is not much different. Move this into a semi-random position and just keep turning. So it's just like this, but literally they freed this up, turned it into a circle part that's freely movable, and glued on another small layer above that. So turn this over here, and I'm going to go ahead and get this all scrambled up and come back at you. Abracadabra. Okay, so now we're ready to get to business. How do we solve this beast over here? Well, the first step, as was talked about in the previous tutorial, is this middle layer. So let's see what we've got. First thing to do is place all of these inner edges to the center. So move this in here and just move this to here. Now we take a look to see what's in and what's not in. So this is in here. None of these are in, so this is what I'm going to want to use. This is to the right and to the front. This is to the left and to the back. So we do the same thing. 2R, 2L, 2R, 2L, and as that was the last permutation before the solve, this is already put in. Simple as that. So it's just that 2R, 2L, 2R, 2L. Now the next bit is we put these guys in. So all I have to do is move, since they're circles and they're bandaged, these guys can easily just be placed to where they're supposed to be. Okay, we see that this one is in, but is this the right one? Is it this blue one or is it this blue one? How do I tell? Well, as we talked about last time, this outer edge is pretty much bonded or bandaged to these inner corners. So if this were the correct one, this would be white and this would be orange. It's not. So that means this is not the right one, even though it's the same color on the top just below this. So what I'm going to do is place this to here. Now that might have tripped some people up at first, but that's how you tell. You may have found yourself with everything solved, but not these guys, and that's why. So move it down, bring it in, move it up. We can see this is in, and now these colors coordinate, so I know that this is the right one. Okay, so we keep doing that. Got to find the right orange. Is it this one or is it this one? Well, we could surmise which one it is, because if it's this one, I've got blue here and white here, so I don't think it's this one, because I've got, well, blue here and white here, so it might be. How about this one? We can just place it and see if it works. Oh, actually it's not white. Yeah, it's this white that I'm looking for. So move this down, put this white in position, bring it in. We see that it's not the correct one, so that's not the correct white. The correct white one is actually over here. So let's put the yellow one in, or orange one in rather. Bring this down, turn it in, bring it up. We see that this is correct, and this is correct. And the final white one, which obviously is not this one because this is not correct and this is not correct, we put this one in. Double turn, move this guy in, snap it back up. So now I know that all of these are fine. So all these are in. So next is placing the corners, the outer corners. So I'm just going to find the correct ones, blue and orange right here, and this is the correct one. I can tell because this flips over when it switches. 2R U, 2R UI, 2R. This is in, our expected misplacement on the top here. So let's move to the next one, blue and white, it's this one. So that's really all there is to this one. That was the only other trick, is how to coordinate these guys, these edges with the proper place over here. Move this in. Oh, we just have this guy to go. The correct one that belongs here, orange and white, is not this. It's this, but I don't want to put that one in next because I'm going to cause misplacement. So I'll put this one in as a dummy one. It's the same color, so there won't be any confusion. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R. Now that I put the dummy one in, I can put the real one in. 2RU, 2RUI, 2R, and kersplat. So these are all in. Now I've got to deal with the top layer here. First thing to do is match these outer edges and inner corners to where they're supposed to be, knowing that it's not going to necessarily make sense with these guys. As I'm moving this toward the center, I'm going to move it away from the corners here. But let's just go ahead and put the inner corners and outer edges to where the centers are. So let's see, this white comes over to here. Now if you don't want to memorize a different algorithm, it's not really memorizing a different algorithm, it's just the left-sided version. Go ahead and keep doing the right-sided corner switch until you rotate this all the way across here. So just by way of demonstration of that, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, and this moves back. So as you can see, we have one more to go for this blue to end up here. We do the same thing. And it's going to move in a clockwise way when you do it from the right, counterclockwise when you move it from the left. So 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, move this back, and it does indeed move all these outer edges and inner corners. We then place these the same way we just did with this guy. So I'm going to manually take this, pop it into here, and move it where it's supposed to be. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So orange and blue will go right here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, and now that's in. So let's pluck this one out. Well, actually, maybe we can just place the right one in. So orange and white, well, that's actually going to be here. So the orange and blue is going to be right over here. Let's take this one out. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. This is in, having this placement here. Now I can move this one into position to move this color down to here. Orange to orange, white to white. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. And lo and behold, we have this whole layer done. So now this whole layer here is tantamount to this over here. And then we solve the top and bottom, this top and bottom the same way. So now we have colors to guide us, but which is the right color, which is the wrong color? Well, put this in, you can see yellow is the correct one. And blue is not the correct one because you can see this is opposite. So I'm going to match these guys up. This edge is matched up here. These guys aren't matched up, so let's simply move this down. Put this in the right position and move it back up. So this is popped into here, this is popped into here. Put the other one up to here. Move this down. Put this other yellow one in place and move this up. Alright, so now that all these edges are in, I simply have to put these guys in. Orange and white, right down here. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. So we're using the original technique that we learned with the very first one that we did. So this is in, put this one in position so it can go to here, white and blue, between white and blue, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. We have one more to do, but I don't want to put it right in because it'll cause misplacement, so we'll put a dummy one in. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Finally putting this one in, UI, 2R. Okay? Now that this is here, there's no strange tricks with this. It's going to be a simple matter of taking these corners and rotating them clockwise if I need to. This rotates clockwise here, so just one right-sided version of the adjacent corner swap. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. Put that in. Didn't quite do it for some reason. Try it again. 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R, UI, D, 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R, and it does it. Puts it in. You can lose an eye like that. Anyway, so there you have it. Solve of this puzzle over here, starting with this guy as the most basic, moving up to here to deal with just the configuration or how to coordinate that with these two, to the circle to deal with how to solve the middle layer here, and then everything else. So basically that's a simple basic solve of these puzzles. Now it is true that if you do the planetary versions of this, it is much more of a challenge. But honestly, I have a bunch of circle puzzles. When sitting and looking at them, they all look the same. The only way that you know a difference is when you move them. And they do offer more of a challenge. But honestly, I just haven't been motivated to just stockpile large amounts of areas on the shelf with a whole bunch of puzzles that look exactly the same. For me, again, it's about the aesthetics, even more so than the challenge. But if so motivated, we can eventually do the more challenging versions of this. But to answer the viewer's question, we eventually worked our way up to this guy over here. So, neat little series of puzzles. Thanks for watching.